So I would maybe be a little bit less theoretical and a bit more practical, but if you want me to go in a specific direction, I would be happy to do so with the question and answer session. I will briefly talk about my experience as a researcher working on human trafficking for sexual exploitation in Nigeria, and try to also give a little bit of my thoughts about how to understand and maximize the impact, since we are here discussing on how to maximize the impact on crime research. But to start, I would like to talk about the very first step, I think, which is important to take when it comes to studying trafficking, which is to differentiate trafficking and irregular migration. Even though there's a lot of similarities between transnational human movements that are taking place in African migration to Europe and within the trafficking networks. There are similarities, like, of course, the economic reason why that motivates the decision to leave, but also the routes that are taken through the desert and even the means of transport. And because of these similarities, because of these overlappings, human trafficking is now used as a major argument in shaping the migration policies, especially the European migration policies that are calling for more control and obviously for a drastic reduction of human flows. However, there are also some crucial differences that exist and have to be looked at when addressing sex trafficking. And in the case of Nigeria, the coercive, the violent context in which Nigerian women mobility is taking place is one of these specificity, because they are either forced into prostitution along the trip, and especially in Libya, where they are forced to go into prostitution in terrible conditions and have to face physical violence. But also another difference lies in the debt bondage, and all women who are trafficked from Nigeria to Europe end up in Europe in that bondage, and the amount of money they have to pay back, that varies in between 30,000 to 70,000 euros, makes the exploitation period extremely long and extremely difficult, and also allows for abuses, different forms of abuses. But as shocking and as outrageous sex trafficking from Nigeria to Europe is, the way it is generally perceived, the way it's generally addressed, especially in the media, is highly problematic. This in the recent years, the media coverage of trafficking in Nigeria has been increasing, and these phenomena have been depicted as a huge transnational organized network, and compared to a mafia, and sometimes even called the Nigerian mafia, which sounds pretty catchy, and which attracts a lot of attention, but which simplifies a lot very complex issues. So in response to these simplifying discourses, in order to understand and to document trafficking issues, serious fieldwork-based academic research has to be conducted. At least that is the opinion of many of my colleagues and myself. So this is a goal that we first set a few years ago in Nigeria, at the French Institute for Research in Nigeria, where we put together a group of European and Nigerian scholars who conducted ethnographic fieldwork together, both in France and in Nigeria. And surprisingly, the problems we encountered were not mostly linked to the sensitivity of the topic or to the potential risks for researcher, even though they exist. I think we managed to avoid taking risks. The issues we encountered were rather the individual positioning of each researcher and the necessary critical distance toward the topic that was really needed there was in some case really hard to adopt. So the solution we decided to take to solve this problem was first a collective reflexivity effort. And also we decided to look at this issue from different perspectives. So we conducted fieldwork in Nigeria and in France and in Italy. And thus we approached the issue from different angles. And this way we were able to not only to compare, but to cross the data, which was a way more efficient method of analysis. But it also gave us the opportunity to rethink the impact we could have on the phenomena itself and the kind of interaction we could have with not only policymakers, but also with practitioners and especially social workers who were actually attending to trafficked girls in Italy and in France, and also in Nigeria, where we got in touch with social workers who even facilitated our fieldwork. And we realized that even though social workers were facing very practical problems, they were really interested in research. And that was a particularly interesting conversation that we started with them, because we understood that our work was actually making a difference in their everyday work.